So most consumers probably don't realise that compostable products are not actually desirable in landfill because landfills are not designed to compost products. Essentially, a modern landfill is actually a massive storage unit for all the waste that we create. If a compostable product ends up in landfill, it will basically create methane, and then once it's buried under all the waste, it is likely to be there for hundreds of years. Compostable products will only break down in specific conditions with specific temperatures, moisture content, and microbes that just literally don't exist in landfill. Landfills are not compost facilities. I feel it is really irresponsible of brands to make claims that make a consumer think that their products are better in landfill because they have a compostable or a biodegradable label on there. I also feel like there are a lot of consumers that think by buying compostable products that they think they're doing something better for the environment. But if they end up in landfill, it can actually be worse for the environment in some cases. And the reality is compostable products should be required to have specific information on their packaging stating the best case end of life for their product. If they don't, then they're literally leading the consumer up the garden path. These days, consumers are faced with so many choices, with almost all products carrying some sort of environmental claim. When brands make environmental claims on their products, how are we even to know that their claims are true? There is a huge amount of greenwashing going on, and this is leading to a lot of eco-anxiety in people. I think fundamentally everyone wants to do better for the planet, but there is just so much misinformation out there that it's no wonder the average consumer is so confused. If you're using a bin liner at home to collect your general waste before sending it to landfill, you're actually better off to use a bin liner that's made from recycled plastic instead of using ones that are biodegradable or compostable, because as I've said, biodegradable and compostable in landfill are not going to break down, but also they're going to create methane. So at least a bin liner that's made from recycled plastic that's already had at least one life prior to you using it as a bin liner is a better choice. If you use a new virgin plastic bin liner, even if it's labelled compostable, this means that a lot of energy has gone into the production of that single-use bag and for one single use only. And then it's off to landfill for hundreds of years. It requires much less energy to produce a bin liner that is made from plastics that have already had a life prior to becoming a bin liner. Generally, when making choices at home, it's always actually best to look at ways that you can reduce waste. For example, there are products that you could actually avoid in the first place. When you're shopping, look at products that have less waste so that you're actually taking less waste home right at the start. Grab yourself a reusable coffee cup. That's a no-brainer. One reusable coffee cup will replace about 260 single-use coffee cups in a year. Another thing is just simply take your own water bottle. Taking your own water bottle means that you can just refill it if you're thirsty, and then I just carry one in my car, in my handbag, and I always make sure I've got a water bottle so that I don't have to buy another single-use plastic product. So it's really important to be mindful right at the start so that you can actually reduce waste from the beginning instead of having to figure out what you're even going to do with stuff. As consumers, we really need to be eyes wide open when it comes to environmental claims on packaging. Ultimately, purchasing compostable products like rubbish bags and other compostable plastic packaging with the intention of sending it to landfill is pretty much a waste of time. Landfills are not compost systems. They're designed to store our waste safely for a long period of time in a sealed unit. Nothing's going to break down in there. So be mindful of the products that you actually put in the bin in the first place, especially single-use products, because ultimately they're going to go to landfill and be there for hundreds of years after a very, very short time of use on the planet. So make sure you choose well.